I'm Kathy from Above and Beyond Creative Sewing, and today I'm going to show you this project that Al and I have been working on. If you've joined us every Wednesday mornings, we do a Facebook Live, and this is our project that we've completed. So we embroidered all 9 blocks with cute little fruits and vegetables and different sayings. And now we spent this week trying to finish these projects as we are going to get ready for our giveaway. So almost every video that we've done, we always mention that we do binding on the serger. So today I'm going to show you how to finish this off doing the binding on a serger. So let's get started. I have the Babylock Triumph set up for a 3-thread wide overlock stitch. Again, I'm going to be using the Wonderfill iron infused thread. So it is sticky, and this thread goes into the lower looper, so it is going to stitch on the back of my quilt. I have my binding all ready to go. And I also like to, when I'm working on the serger, certainly when I'm doing binding, I like to use the clear foot because it kind of makes me able to see a little bit better what I'm doing. So I find that this clear foot works very well. Okay, so let's get started here. You sew the binding on right edges, raw edges rather, to the raw edge on the front of the quilt. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and shove this underneath here, and I'm going to use, I know it's really hard to see, but I'm going to use the back of my guide here as my guide, so I'm going to line the fabric right up with this guide. Okay, and I'm just going to follow that along as I sew, and it's going to keep it straight for me. Okay, here we go. I do have my knife on, so it's going to just kind of get rid of all these little frays of fabric for me as I go along. Okay, so I'm going to sew right down to the edge. Okay, like this. I'm going to stop right at the edge here. I'm going to open up my door and just bring my thread out a little bit. And I'm going to turn my hand wheel to get my project off the stitch fingers. Once that comes loose, I'm going to bring this around so I can be able to do the corner. So what I do is just like you would do a normal binding, you bring the binding piece up like this, and then this piece comes down. Okay, so notice that this now is straight against the top of my quilt, and this part here is also straight down. That's how you want to continue sewing. Okay, so I'm going to put this back under my presser foot, close this up, bring my foot down, and continue sewing. Okay, I'm going to come down to one more corner, just show you the corner one more time. Okay, kind of straightening as you go along. I found that applying binding this way just saves so much time. I used to sew binding on the sewing machine and then hand tack it down. This has saved me so many hours of hand tacking. It's just so much easier, and for me, so much better. Okay, so now I'm right at the edge here. So again, I'm going to open up my door, lift up my presser foot, just bring these threads out just a little bit. Move the hand wheel to get my project off the stitch finger so it's completely loose here. Bring it around. Okay, and again, bring your binding up this way so that it's diagonal like this piece matching right in the corner, and then you're going to bring this straight down. Keeping in mind that your binding now is straight with the edge of your quilt here, and this part is also straight here. Okay? Put this right back underneath your presser foot, close the door, and now nothing's happening because this machine actually has a safety feature on it that if your presser foot isn't down, it doesn't sew, so you don't ruin your projects. I think that's pretty amazing. Okay, so we're going to continue on, and that's how you would attach the binding on the serger. So now when you're done attaching the binding, like I said, the fusible thread goes on the bottom. So once you're done sewing this all the way around, you're going to take it to your iron. you're going to flip this over and you're going to just fuse this down, and this thread will actually hold this into place. Once you have that done completely around the whole quilt, you're going to take it to the sewing machine and you're going to tack it down with a straight stitch by sewing it in the ditch. So, handily, I have this one done. Okay, so this is what the binding looks like on this quilt. Really cute. It's all fused down on the back. All I now have to do is just stitch in the ditch to get this to be sewn down. So today I'm going to be using the Pfaff Performance Icon. I have it all threaded up and ready to go with matching thread. I usually like to use matching thread on the back. Okay, I am using today the open toe foot, the open toe applique foot. For me, it's just easier to see. I know a lot of people like to use a stitch in the ditch foot, and that's fine too, but for me, I like using the open toe foot so that I can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, thanks. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to take just one stitch. Okay, I'm going to pull, well, that actually took more than one, but that's okay. Get my bobbin thread up. It's okay. Now I'm going to lower my stitch count size to 0.5 just to anchor that first few stitches in here. Okay, and then I'm going to bring it back up to 2.5. I'm going to put my needle position down, and now all the way around I'm going to stitch this down in the ditch so that it catches on the back. Like this. Okay, I just usually like to put a couple of pins in the corners just to keep them, just to hold those into place. Okay, when I come down to the corner, get right in there. With my needle down feature, I can now pivot so I don't lose my place here, and just continue all the way along, all around the quilt. Okay, so here, this is what this looks like. Very nice, professional looking, just really so much faster and so much easier. Okay, so that's how you apply binding using a serger and then ultimately the sewing machine on a quilt. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.